the talent, the competitors, the people we were able to add to this group. It feels like this offseason, the A plans have come through.
He struck him out!
This is that first real big piece.
It's just something you want to be a part of.
Tommy Edman, Blake Trinan. Great to have both of those guys back. The Dodgers signed a left-handed hitting outfielder.
Conforto breaks the ice.
They've already added Tanner Scott.
Strike three called.
Teoscar Hernandez is back.
Teo, a hero!
I'm happy, excited just to be back.
Hai-Sung Kim, the infielder, star from the KBO.
An aggressive offseason, more aggressive than any other team in baseball.
The newest Dodger pitching phenom, Roki Sasaki.
He's got lightning stuff, touches 102.
It's about doing everything we can to make sure that we win that last game of the season.
Another huge offseason here in LA. The 2025 Dodgers roster. Yeah, it's pretty stacked. The excitement's already off the charts. It's going to be great. The World Series champs added a two-time Cy Young Award winner and a pair of all-star closers. They also welcomed a former all-star outfielder who belted 20 home runs last season for the rival Giants. Just a few days ago at Camelback Ranch, I got connected with Michael Conforto. Michael Conforto, another one of the new guys here in camp this spring. You had other choices, other options probably during free agency. So let's begin with why it was this team, this organization, the Los Angeles Dodgers that you wanted to play for.
Well, I mean, obviously the sustained success that I've been witness to from across the league and then across the division in San Francisco. All the players. Really talented players that I've played against. I've, in a lot of ways admired the way that the Dodgers have done things. My first go around in spring, in free agency, we had a little bit of contact. I needed a little bit more security coming off an injury, so I ended up signing somewhere else. We don't have to talk about where, but so I've had my eye on this team for a long time, and so it just made sense. I mean, when the Dodgers come calling, you really got to take a serious look at it.
In the past few years, we've seen some other guys kind of bet on yourself. I'm not sure if that's what you're doing, but last year, Teoscar Hernandez, he comes here on a one-year deal, has an incredible year, and he parlays that into a multi-year deal. And I know you're about 3 years now removed from that shoulder surgery, and prior to that, you were an all-star player. How confident are you now being this far removed from the surgery that you can get back to being the guy we saw when you were in New York?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely very confident, especially 3 years removed. Having talked to a lot of people who've been through, that lead arm surgery for a lefty hitter. It's one that just takes reps and time, to get back to being that same guy. So I'm excited about it. I know that I have all the support, from the hitting coaches, analytics. They have a good idea of what I was doing when I was, that all-star caliber player, versus the past couple of years, just trying to get back to form. So, and it's something that players notice throughout the league. They see guys go to the Dodgers and their careers kind of, I don't know about reboot, but they see guys perform. They see guys elevate their level of play, to the caliber of the players around them. And I can already feel it. It's only been a few days of camp, but you're just motivated. You want to raise your level of play to the Shoheis and the Mookies and the Freddies, and you just see how they go about their business, and it makes sense.
One of the things Dave Roberts said last year during that run, and even after the run, it was the closest team that he's ever been around. Do you get the sense of that when you're downstairs and you're getting to know some of these guys as teammates and as people? You can understand why these guys have an incredible bond together.
Yeah, right away you can tell there's a culture. There's definitely a positivity, but an importance placed on being where you need to be, being focused, being efficient. There's not a lot of wasting time. Guys are on the move. Guys are getting their work in, and and then doing all the things to make sure they're ready for the next day, you know, and getting your treatment and doing all the things that they have available. A million different things you can do to just try to recover a little bit more for the following day. So it's been, you know, just a couple days, but I've seen that for sure.
We talked a little bit with you at Dodger Fest about how you are one of the rare players who's played in the Little League World Series, College World Series, Major League World Series. What would it mean to you to win a World Series with this team this year if you guys could get it done?
It would mean everything. You know, and again, just going back to one of your questions earlier, you know, why the Dodgers? You know, I want a chance to win. I broke into the league and was very, very fortunate to go to the World Series my rookie season. When you're that young and that new in the league, you kind of, you know, you take that for granted a little bit. As much as everybody tells you how hard it is to get there, you expect to get there. And not having been back in almost 10 years, you know, it's something you think about every year. This is the year we're going to do it, you know. And, you know, this year it really feels like you know, it's right there. It's tangible, it's in your hand. You know, so that's something that's motivating, something that's, you know, very exciting for me and my family to hopefully go on that journey one more time.
Yeah, Dodgers picked up their first win of the spring yesterday, but that wasn't the story. This guy right here, Dustin May, was the real story. Back on the mound in a game for the first time since having a second Tommy John surgery and then emergency surgery for a torn esophagus. May put up a 0 in his one inning, finished it with that strikeout right there. You can see the emotion as he walked off the mound at Camelback Ranch. It's not on the scale of Dustin May, but this season is a comeback for Tyler Glasnow as well. After an all-star first half to his first season with the Dodgers last year, he was shut down in August with elbow tendonitis. Recently at Camelback Ranch, I got connected with Tyler Glasnow. Tyler Glasnow, now a World Series champion. I know that sounds pretty darn cool to you. When you look back at last season, it seems like maybe to you or to some other people, it was the absolute best of times, and I won't say the worst of times, but certainly some frustrating times mixed in with that because you are World Series champion. You set a number of career highs as a pitcher as well, but then you had to be a spectator in October. So when you look at 24, what comes through your mind?
Yeah, it was like an up and down season for me. I think the ultimate goal, though, coming to the Dodgers was just to contribute and win multiple World Series, I guess. And I guess to come in year one, and it was unfortunate I couldn't contribute, but I think it was, I guess in a way, less stressful, the fact that we won. It would have sucked so much more if we ended up getting there and then not winning the World Series and I wasn't able to participate and contribute, and that definitely would have hurt a lot more. I'm glad we came out and won, and I hope this year, I know this year that I'm going to be able to contribute and help when the playoffs start.
What did your offseason look like in terms of if you're still rehabilitating your elbow or any other injuries you had? Did you train any differently now going into 2025?
Not a ton. I think the biggest thing for me was to address like some mechanical inefficiencies, and I think that was just something I worked on since I got hurt and then took it into the offseason, and then I've been kind of implementing it now. Off-season stuff, though, like working out and all that stuff is kind of the same. I've always done like a good amount in the off-season, and I was working with BMAC and the staff and kind of changed some lifts up, but for the most part kind of kept it relatively similar.
I've heard some other former pitchers talk about it. Oral's even talked about it. Because you are so tall and you've got these long lever systems, it can be harder to get your mechanics maybe a little bit out of whack. Is that something that you've been fighting for a good portion of your career as you've been such a tall pitcher?
Yeah, and I think each year it gets easier in terms of execution, I guess. Like when I was younger, like an inch off, it was like all over the zone. And I think as far as execution goes, I can keep it in the zone now. But I think the biggest thing for me is like solidifying it for injury's sake, I guess. I guess when a little thing is off and I'm late, puts a lot more stress on parts of my body. But I think what I've done this year to address that is like change up some mechanical stuff, and so far so good. And I feel like my misses are smaller, and I guess like when I'm not timed up, it feels a lot more natural.
When you came here last year and you looked around, you saw the talent that was in the room. I'm sure that was probably pretty cool to see. And then you come back this year and there's even more talent. When you gather first full squad day and you look around that clubhouse, is it pretty incredible just to see the faces and the names that are in there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a dream team for sure. You know, I think we go out and win last year and then add all these guys. It's insane, you know. And I think our expectation is to win multiple World Series, and I think everyone in that room has the exact same expectations. So it's a bright future for the Dodgers.
When you look at the starting staff, and people have joked, oh my gosh, it's like 5 aces basically making up the 5 men in the rotation when you count Shohei when he comes back. How much are you looking forward to what you guys can do on a nightly basis? Because I imagine in some ways you guys will try to push each other a little bit as well.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of like competition amongst starters for sure, but I think at the like the overall, I guess the theme is like you go out and execute and do as well as you possibly can. And then you go out the next night and you see it, like it's just a bunch of number ones, and I think that it's like the healthy competition where you always want to go out and like pitch the best throughout the week, and then you also are cheering for your guys. So I think the competition mixed with like the team camaraderie is just such a good place to get better and a good place to like put together a great season. So I'm just excited to go see all those guys pitch and to get me kind of, you know, motivated and go out and try to pitch well every week.
Last year, I think we sat in these same chairs, and you talked about you wanted to establish new career highs in certain categories, which you were able to do, whether it was starts, innings pitched, and strikeouts as well. When you look forward to 2025, is it less about those numbers and more about durability and health, or do you still have certain numbers that you would like to reach?
I mean, I think last year was, I guess, good because they're all career highs, but it's still not what I know that I'm capable of, I guess. So I think my biggest goal is just to stay healthy, but I also think execution-wise and like, I guess innings pitched and all that other stuff, I still think there's a lot, like I can do a lot better. So it was a good season, I guess, when I was healthy, but I just think it wasn't as good as I know I can be, and I want to stay healthy all year long and then contribute in the playoffs.
Last thing for you, what's the vibe like down the clubhouse now that the full squad is here? I imagine people don't talk about the World Series, but I imagine there's just an incredible amount of confidence that let's run this back.
Yeah, I think we talk about it just because everyone asks us about it, you know? Like, I think, so it's down there, but we've talked about it in our meetings and stuff, but it's weird, like there's like more a hunger this year. It was obviously, there was a hunger last year, but it's like kind of coming in, and I think for the most part, people from the outside might think we're like, oh, we won a World Series, it's okay, like let's time to coast. It just seems like there's a lot more urgency, and I think that even coming in early before the position players are supposed to report, and they're out there doing ground balls for like 2 hours, and they're all, like they all want to be out there. And I think a lot of teams that I've been on, it's like, oh, we got early work and blah, blah, blah. And those dudes are just like, we want to go do this for 2 hours a day. It's pretty incredible. So the hunger is definitely there, and that sense of urgency is very alive.
Love to hear that. Fire still burning. Tyler
sure.
Glass now. Tyler, thank you so much, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
dude.
your time.
Appreciate it.
Final thoughts, and we will look ahead to tomorrow, our first look at Snellzilla. Blake Snell will make his Dodgers debut in Arizona.
それではまた次回お会いしましょう。こちらの試合はロサンゼルス・ドジャースにとってスプリングトレーニングの大切な一歩となる一戦でした。試合結果こそ8対1と大差がついたものの、選手たちはそれぞれの課題に取り組み、開幕に向けた調整を続けています。スプリングトレーニングは単に勝ち負けを競うだけではなく、シーズンに向けた準備の場、選手たちが新たなシーズンへ向けてどのように仕上げていくのかを見守るのがまさにこの時期の醍醐味です。まず今日の最大の注目ポイントはタイラー・グラスノーの復帰登板でした。彼にとって昨年8月11日以来の実戦登板となり、わずか1イニングの投球ではありましたが、球速も出ており、しっかりとストライクゾーンに投げ込むことができていました。試合後のインタビューでは、久しぶりの登板だったけれど、感覚は良かったと話しており、順調に調整が進んでいることがうかがえます。彼自身は今シーズンに向けて小さなメカニックの修正を言っており、その変化を試合の中で自然に発揮できるかが鍵となります。彼が完全復活すれば、ドジャースのローテーションにとって大きな力となることは間違いありません。また、リリーフ陣のピッチングにも注目が集まりました。特に、オフに加入したカービー・イエーツは素晴らしい投球を見せ、彼の持ち味であるチェンジアップが冴え渡っていました。相手打者のバットを空振りさせる場面もあり、シーズンが進むにつれてブルペンの中心的存在になっていくことが期待されます。同じく新加入のタナー・スコットはやや荒れたピッチングになってしまいましたが、彼のスライダーは健在。今日の登板では本塁打を浴びる場面もありましたが、これもまた調整段階。今後、制球力を磨くことでより安定した投球ができるようになれば、 彼の実力が存分に発揮されるはずです。一方、野手陣に目を向けると、エディ・ロザリオが存在感を発揮しました。ドジャースの一員としてスプリングトレーニングに参加する彼は、この試合でもヒットを放ち、順調な調整ぶりをアピール。彼のような経験豊富な選手がチームに加わることは、若手選手にとっても刺激となるでしょう。今後のオープン戦でどのような活躍を見せるか、そして開幕ロースターにどのように組み込まれるのか、非常に楽しみな存在です。また、ジェームズ・アウトマンもオフシーズンにスイングの改良を行い、その成果が少しずつ現れています。この試合では2カウントからしっかりとタイミングを合わせ、センター方向に強い打球を放ちました。昨シーズンは一時スランプに苦しむ時期もありましたが、今年はより安定した成績を残せるかどうかが鍵となります。彼の成長がドジャースの攻撃力をさらに引き上げることになるでしょう。試合後のデーブ・ロバーツ監督のコメントにもあったように、スプリングトレーニングでは勝敗よりも選手たちがどのように調整を進めているかが重要。今回の試合でもリリーフ陣の調整具合や新加入選手の適応状況、そして若手の成長など多くの収穫がありました。もちろん課題もありますが、それを一つ一つクリアしながらシーズン開幕に向けて最善の準備を進めていくことが今のドジャースにとって最も大切なことです。そしてこれからドジャースはスプリングトレーニングの残りの試合をこなしながら開幕シリーズへと向かっていきます。特に注目されるのが東京で行われる開幕戦。果たしてグラスノーは登板することになるのか、また開幕ローテーションに誰が入るのかなど、まだまだ話題がつきません。チームは今後さらに調整を進め、万全の状態でシーズン開幕を迎えることを目指します。今後もスプリングトレーニングの試合を通してチームの成長を見守りましょう。そして皆さんの期待する選手や注目ポイントがあればぜひコメント欄で教えてください。選手に期待、このプレーが印象的だったなど皆さんの声を聞かせてもらえると嬉しいです。ドジャースの試合をより一緒に楽しんでいきましょう。この動画が少しでも楽しめた方はぜひチャンネル登録と高評価をお願いします。あなたの応援がドジャースの選手たちの力になります。そしてこれからのスプリングトレーニングの試合も引き続きお届けしていきますのでお見逃しなく。それでは次の試合も楽しみにしましょう。ドジャースの今シーズンがどのような展開になるのか一緒に応援していきましょう。